Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. It's Denise from Vivify Integrative Health. Tonight we're going to talk about how to maintain the habits that we have needed to use during this time to get through this liver cleanse. So here is the agenda this evening. All right, what we're going to be talking about. How to maintain healthy habits in general, but detox habits as well. So building good habits and breaking down bad ones, mindfulness, using mindfulness for that, stress reduction. We've got to remove as much stress as we can from the body so that the body can detox. And then we're going to talk about a morning routine and, if I remember, some additional programs. So those healthy detox, natural ways to detox the body that we're going to try to maintain is getting good sleep, regular intermittent fasting, getting some sort of exercise movement, some sort of sweat that could be with the exercise, could be infrared sauna, practicing deep breathing, having regular waste elimination, eating good foods that also help with detox, and then dry brushing is an easy thing to, continue to do as well. So what are habits? And habits, this is an author, a book, James Clear, that has a book. He also has a website, excuse me, that has a lot of great information. And habits really are, our health is the sum of our habits, those daily small choices that we make over and over again. If we transform our habits, we can transform our life. And so these are the 4 stages of habits according to James. So there's a cue, and then we have a craving or want. We take an action, we have a response to that, and then there's a reward. And so here are just a few examples. So you hear your phone buzz, you want to learn what is in the content of that buzz. Is it a text message? Is it a notification of some sort on social media? You grab your phone and read the text. And so the reward is you satisfy that craving to read the message. So grabbing your phone becomes associated with that phone buzzing. This is a habit loop. The other thing is, another example is you're answering emails. You begin to feel stressed or overwhelmed by work, and you want to feel in control, or you want to distract from that feeling. So you start to bite your nails. Could be that, now is when you go to your phone, you get on social media to distract from that overwhelmed, stressed feeling. And now you satisfy that craving to reduce the stress. Biting your nails becomes associated with answering your email. So we can apply this to, lots of things. So the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. So we notice something, we want something, we obtain it, and we're satisfied. So, and 2, the response, what we choose, how we respond, depends on our motivation and the amount of friction to perform the behavior, as well as your ability. So if maybe instead of biting your nails, you wanted to go brew some tea, but you don't have any tea, that's a lot of friction. So that's not likely going to become your new habit. So our environment, how we set up our environment, is important here as well. Here too, the way we speak to ourselves matters. So instead of saying, oh, I don't bite my nails, I don't bite my nails is what you'd want to say, rather than I can't, because I can't isn't a choice. It means you're being restricted, you're being limited, it's being imposed upon you, versus I don't eat that anymore, I don't bite my nails, I don't drink alcohol, I choose not to, versus I can't. So the way we talk to ourselves is important. And then, like I just mentioned, willpower fatigues and motivation ebbs and flows. So make it so easy that you can't say no. So whatever that habit you're trying to create, hold on, I just want to make sure nobody else is trying to get in here. I guess I can't really tell. Make that habit so easy that you become, it's easy because you become consistent because it's so easy. So rather than trying to, set the bar really high, set it low to start with. Something that's easy, make the habit easy. And here too, it's, you know, improving by 1% each day is all you have to do. It creates, you know, over a year's time, a 37, almost 38% improvement. So just a little bit at a time, and also start small and gradually increase quantity over quality. So again, it's not all or nothing. You don't have to be perfect. And so here as well, you know, if you fall off the wagon one day with, you know, whatever the habit is, you know, you don't do anything that is moving you in the direction of your intention, whether it's to get healthier, maybe it's to lose weight, maybe it's to, you know, whatever. We'll talk about that in a minute here. But again, it's not about being perfect. It's not all or nothing, but it's, you know, never miss twice. So if that action doesn't happen today, just make sure it happens the next day. So again, it's quantity over quality. And here too, it's setting an intention versus a measurable goal. So when you say, you know, I want to run a marathon, really what your goal probably is to be a healthier person. If you're all or nothing saying, I want to run a marathon, but the day before you twist your ankle and you can't run that marathon, well, now you failed at that goal. Versus I've trained for 6 months and I've gotten so much healthier. If your goal, your measurable goal is to make $100,000, but you only made 99,000, well, you didn't make your goal. But, you know, are you a failure? Did you, you know, you didn't meet that number, but really you want to set an intention to become more financially stable, lose 40 pounds, maybe you only lost 39 again, and to be confident in my body. I don't like that, that goal. You can be confident in any body. It doesn't have to look a certain way for you to be confident. So the goal is I want to feel better in my body. I want my body to be able to do the things I want it to do. Owning a house, but maybe there's no houses available at this, you know, time because everyone's moving. You know, here again, the true goal or intention would be to create stability. So look at your goals, you know, what you're, you know, hoping to continue, and, you know, make it more of an intention, a true goal versus a measurable goal. And then break it down too. It's, you know, if you are thinking you want to get more exercise, it doesn't have to be an hour of exercise. Maybe it's through, you know, 6-10 minutes. You sit and do some push-ups, you sit and do some sit-ups. You know, you break it down. That's, you know, that's a way to start small and grow and get to where you want to go. One other thing here. Yeah, we'll get back on track as quickly as possible. Be consistent, not perfect. And then I think we have it coming up here. Yeah, this too. Sustainability. This is all from James Clear. Again, you know, find that middle path. You don't want to, you know, push too hard or don't push hard enough. So find the sweet spot that is sustainable. Again, you know, it's, you know, don't try to be perfect, but if you're not perfect, you don't go off the rails. It's just find that place in between that's manageable and sustainable. Let's see. Then new habits should feel easy. Be patient and stick to a pace that you can sustain. And then this is now this is a review of James Clear. One of the readers says, you know, what he talks about in that book is that you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. So if you want to become a runner, you want to hang around with people that run. If you don't want to drink, you don't hang around with people that drink. If you can't find someone in your close group that, you know, is the way that you want to identify yourself as, you need to expand your friends. You know, search out a group that is doing what it is that you're trying to, what habit you're trying to start. So, yeah, it's not that you have to cut off friends, but maybe you start to spend less time with those people that are not supportive of your goals. And then this is another author, Dr. Judson Brewer. He's a psychiatrist, deals a lot with addiction. His book is The Craving Mind, and he uses a little different approach. His habit loop just starts with a trigger, and then there's the behavior, and then there's a reward. So it's basically the same thing. The trigger creates the craving, then we take on the behavior, the response, and then there's the reward. And so here's just an example. There's a negative emotion, again, something that feels not so good in the body, feels stress or anxiety. And so we want to, not feel that. So maybe we eat a cookie or we eat a bag of cookies and we temporarily have relief. But then there's the new trigger is, wow, why did I just eat that bag of cookies? Now, there's the next behavior, and it's just a vicious cycle. So this is the mindfulness piece. So starting to pay attention to the triggers, the cues, and that get us caught up in this loop. Second is exploring the results. So he's like, for example, he will have smokers. He's very successful with getting people to stop smoking because they will now start to pay attention to the rewards. So some of them, they have the trigger, they grab their cigarette, but instead of just mindlessly puffing on their cigarette, they start to pay attention. And then they start to recognize, this reward is awful. It tastes like chemicals, and it smells like chemicals and tastes like chemicals and smells like stinky cheese, I think is one of the lines out of the book. So when you start to feel like, okay, I just ate the bag of cookies and now I feel awful, when you become more mindful, you can step out of that habit loop. So using curiosity, just noticing the trigger, noticing the cue, whatever is bringing on the, perpetual behavior. And you can just breathe through that. Just, a long inhale and a deep exhale is helping to send the message to the nervous system that you're safe and that, cortisol can stop being pumped out from the adrenals. And that's how you end that discomfort that then, needs to be distracted from. And then loving kindness. So I think too, when you, recognize what's behind the behavior, it's way easier to have compassion for yourself. Oh, I had that thought that I'm not good enough. And that's coming from my childhood, which, really isn't, is out of context. It's not appropriate anymore. So I don't have to feel bad and I don't have to eat the cookie. So anyway, just another sample of a way to, use mindfulness to get out of that habit loop. So here is that new habit loop that doesn't lead to, a repeat of the loop. When you find something, he calls it the bigger, better offer. So when you use curiosity, which is what he found in his research, that there's actually a reward just from being curious and kind of putting these pieces together. And, we get a little dopamine always with these behaviors, and that's why we do it. We feel good in the moment, and using curiosity can create some of that dopamine as well. And so here's the take-home points. There's always got to be a reward, and the ideal rewards are intrinsic. So for example, if you decide, we talked last time, some of those habits, the fasting. So this is something that works for me. When, once it gets dark and we need to be done eating because it's best for the body to not eat after sunset. And when sunset comes pretty early and, later in the night, it's like, oh, geez, you see something and it's like, oh, that would be really good right now. And you really want to eat it. But so if I use an intrinsic reward, which is, oh, I'm going to be able to sleep so much better if I don't eat anything right now. I'm going to allow my body to do all that repair and regeneration if I don't put food in my belly right now. And those are all intrinsic rewards. I'm going to feel better. It's all for me. If the motivation to not eat after dark was, oh, well, I'll gain weight if I eat too late at night. I might gain weight. That's extrinsic. That's not something that's, you know, necessarily from me. It's outside approval. It's coming from our culture saying you need to look differently. So that would feel like, same with the I can't, it would feel like punishment. It would feel like I'm being restricted. I'm told I can't eat right now versus I'm choosing not to eat right now because I want the rewards of feeling better and sleeping better tonight. Anyway, moving on. So awareness naturally moves us towards intrinsic rewards. So again, like he's saying, well, here he's using stopping eating when full. It's, again, that immediate gratification, that food can taste so good right now. But if you've had a past experience where you're not going to feel that well if you continue to eat, that would be an intrinsic reward where I'm going to stop. No one else is telling me to stop. I'm going to stop because I don't want to feel too full. And so awareness of the habit loop, awareness of the results of the behavior, and find the more rewarding reward. So the bigger, better offer, as he calls it. These are some of the triggers for that habit loop. Is we're hungry, we're angry, we're lonely, we're tired. You've probably heard that acronym before. And so, yeah, I think we need to set ourselves up I recommend mindfulness all the time because it helps us to understand those behaviors when we're not mindful, when we're not conscious of what's going on. We just subconsciously go into this behavior. If you're conscious, if you're aware that, oh, wow, now I'm feeling stressed, I feel some discomfort, some anxiety. Why? I'm just sitting here on the couch. Oh, and now I'm going to examine my thoughts. And my thoughts are saying, I just had this thought that, I'm the bills are due. And so, I need to do something about this sensation where, food is not going to solve it. It's going to temporarily give me a little boost of dopamine, but it's not going to pay the bills. What I can do is recognize that thought created this sensation, and I can just breathe, and I cannot project my thoughts any further into the future. And I can just do what I can do in this moment. So staying present and breathing, those long exhales start to flush out that cortisol. And then, I'll make a plan to pay that bill. So rather than get sucked into that habit loop, use some mindfulness. All right, so now we need to talk about stress, which we did last time, so I'm not going to go into this too much. We've got all those environmental stressors, the artificial light, the electromagnetic frequencies, so Wi-Fi, all the electronics, the phones, the computers. While we've got electricity, we've got dirty electricity, we've got, radio frequency, microwaves, and dirty electricity. We've got artificial light as part of that. Magnetic energy. I don't know how much we went into that before. We did a little bit, but anyway, if you need, I can send you some more information on that. So the toxins in our air and our water and our food, the physical, the injuries, affections, surgeries, and then the emotional stressors too. So those negative thoughts, developmental trauma, and adverse childhood events, the ACEs. Those big T and small t traumas that, the body responds the same, whether it's, physical, mental, emotional, or environmental. It's a threat to your survival, whether it's a toxin or it's a toxic thought. The hypothalamus signals the pituitary to signal the adrenals to pump out that cortisol and adrenaline. And it's only beneficial in the short term for the energy, the awakened brain to help you flee or fight in that moment. When it's chronic, when there's these chronic stressors, it suppresses the immune system, the memory, promotes bone loss and muscle wasting and metabolic syndrome, weight gain. So, great habit is to work on, removing those environmental stressors. We talked about those a couple times ago. The chemicals in our cleaning products and personal care products, our food, coming in our food, our water, filtering our water, and then working on the negative thoughts. And that we'll talk about here in just a second again. Oh, so this is it here. This is where we'll talk about it. So these are the common reasons why we don't achieve our true goals and desires. And number one is we worry too much about what other people think. So for instance, if you're trying to start a new habit and no one else around you is doing that, you kind of stick out. You kind of look out of place. So like when I am at someone's house and I pull out my red glasses like this, and I only have to double them up when I'm trying to read something, but I'll put these on. I'll be the only one there wearing them, but I don't care because I'm not too worried about what other people think about me. And that's not something that I've been able to do my entire life, but you know what, now I have confidence in myself. I would rather take care of myself than worry about what other people think about me. I don't need their validation and approval anymore. So I kind of do a lot of weird things. And my saying is always, if I did what everyone else did, I'd be sick like everyone else is. So I don't worry too much about what other people think, but that's a common reason why most people don't achieve their goals. They're not willing to stick out and be different. And that's understandable. It's part of our evolution and survival. Because again, if you get kicked out of the cave, you don't survive. So if you're not complying, following along, it could put you at risk. But if you use some mindfulness again, you'll recognize that it's not likely that you're going to not survive because you wear some blue, black, and glasses, or you eat differently, or you don't go out for drinks, you go to the gym instead, different things like that. So number one. And then number two, we waste too much time on social media. It can be a way to procrastinate. It can be used wisely if it's used with intention, but it's also a way that we can confirm those subconscious limiting, self-sabotaging beliefs. So we go on Facebook, we go on Instagram, whatever, and we find information that confirms that we're not successful enough, that we're not thin enough, that we're not whatever enough. And so you have to use social media intentionally if you're looking for some information or if you're looking to connect to people, but you don't want to be a passive consumer of social media. We waste time, and it's taking away from us achieving our goals. Third, we don't ask for help or support. So here too, it's we just need one person to understand why we're doing what we're doing. And it's if you don't have support from your family, again, you can go looking for groups of like-minded people. And again, it only takes one to feel supported and help you to achieve those goals and desires. 4, we blame others instead of looking within. So we blame everyone else instead of looking at ourselves. But the problem with that is then we give the power to everyone else. If they have the power to not allow us to make our goals, and they must have the power to help us attain our goals, which is never going to get us there. So we have to look within. We have to notice how we have been complicit, and then the solution lies with us taking back our power and recognizing where we've contributed to that lack of success in that area. 5, we don't set an intention for the day. So we did talk about this before in regulating the nervous system every day, that you want to have a morning practice to start your day from rest and digest, to make sure that the nervous system knows what it feels like to be in that parasympathetic side, so that then when you're not in parasympathetic, when your body's amped up, your heart's pounding, your gut's in a knot, you recognize that, and then again you breathe, you check your thoughts, you bring the body back down to that parasympathetic side, and So we're doing that in the morning, but this would also be a good time to set an intention for the day. So, today I'm going to XYZ. And it can be, something new every day, or you can continue to work on, I'm just going to stay positive today, or I'm going to, smile at everyone I see, or I'm going to make sure I pause before I react to anyone that I'm in contact with today. So setting an intention for the day helps you to, be in the vibration, the energy of what it is that you want to attain and where you want to go. And now 6, this one we kind of talked about a little bit before. We spend time with the wrong people. So, they may be people that are not supporting us. They may be people that are trying to sabotage our goals. Could just be people that drain our energy. And so, you want to kind of audit the people that you hang around with. Are they supportive? Are they like-minded? Are they, not allowing you to achieve your goals? All right, then 7, we don't read enough books. We don't read books that help us to level up. There was a statistic that after high school, like 45% of people never read another book, which blows my mind because it's, such a great way to get information, and it's a nice relaxing way to get it, better than listening to podcasts, which is fine, but you're not really calming yourself and sitting and concentrating. You're probably multitasking and all of that. So, find books that are going to help you get to where you want to go. 8. All right. So we live the life that others expect for us. There is a palliative care nurse in Australia that wrote a book, and she, dealt with hundreds of people who were, dying, and she was helping them transition. And so she asked them, what were their biggest regrets in life? And the number one regret was that they didn't live a life true to themselves. They lived the life that others expected for them. So, it may require that, you let go of your job, or, you have some tough conversations, but it's necessary for us to focus on our own goals and grow and achieve our dreams, is to live the life that's true to us. All right, and last, we're too hard on ourselves. Being too hard on yourselves, we don't allow for mistakes. We beat ourselves up when we're not perfect. And this prevents us from achieving our goals. A lot of times, if you recognize that you're a procrastinator, most often, it's because we're afraid to make a mistake. We're afraid to be imperfect. When, remember earlier, we talked about it's about quantity versus quality. So the more you get out and do that and put yourself out there, the better you're going to get at whatever it is. And that's part of the reason why we're hard on ourselves. It's the ego. It's that personal protector that we have, that change is scary. So we don't want to put ourselves out there because we might get laughed at. And so that's why we have the negative thoughts. You raise your hand and give the wrong answer in 3rd grade. So your mind says, you're stupid, don't do that again. So you don't get rejected. Rejection means you're not going to survive. So, observe that thought and, ask, is it really true? And it's like, no, that's, that was 3rd grade. I don't need to listen to that thought anymore. And start noticing you can't change what you're not aware of. So start to notice how many times a day, you catch yourself, being hard on yourself. You want to, like some of the things we say to ourselves, we would never say to a friend, we'd never say to our child. So, start speaking to yourself in a way that's supportive rather than limiting and sabotaging. All right. So then here is a daily routine for everyone. So we have to set ourselves up for success. So if we want to have a good day, it actually starts the night before with that, the bedtime routine. So putting on your blue blocking glasses once the sun goes down, so that you have a good night of sleep. You have elevated melatonin. Your body can regenerate and repair and detox overnight so that you wake up and you feel rested and healthy. And we talked about how to enhance the sleep, remove EMFs. So don't charge your phone in your bedroom. Don't have anything plugged in around your bed that's going to have, electricity. Even if it's not on, the electricity's still there, and can travel through the air and through your mattress frame or the bed frame and the mattress springs into your body. We didn't talk about that much, but that's the case with electricity in your bedroom. So minimizing the stressors overnight. And then when you get up, did I say morning practice? You're going to get outside in the sun. First thing to set that circadian rhythm. We talked about that. That's also setting your nervous system with that morning practice where you're also now going to set your intention for the day. Maybe you practice gratitude at that time, or you can practice it before bed. That changes the brain over time. It takes the activity out of that fight or flight part of the brain, that, the stress response, and forces the activity to come to the prefrontal cortex where you make logical, rational decisions. You have to use this part of the brain to think of something great to be grateful for. And so it changes the brain over time. So practicing gratitude, setting your nervous system, whether that means just stretching, doing a meditation, a little reading of something, some way to get your nervous system into that parasympathetic side. The liver tonic, I've posted that in the Facebook page. I drink this every day. It's kind of a little daily detox. We talked about how apple cider vinegar helps remove glyphosate from your body. So I fill up this container with hot water, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I cut up some turmeric and some ginger, and then I put a half a lemon in there and squeeze that. Drink that, and then after it's gone, I'll just refill it with hot water. So I've got some hot lemon water throughout the day. You want to start your day with a nutritious breakfast, and this is part of your optimizing your body. It's more in tune to digest and process and assimilate food earlier in the day versus later in the day, and it's a way to tell your body, oh, it's daytime. A lot of people skip breakfast, have some lunch, and then they have a bigger dinner. Well, then they're not going to be hungry for breakfast. That's what a lot of people say. I'm not hungry for breakfast, but they had a big meal at the end of the day. And it really needs to shift the other way, eating a nutritious breakfast. And sometimes, depending on your schedule, that might be something you need to do the night before. Prepare something. Always, you're going to need to, in order, like you probably recognize during this 15 days of liver cleanse, you needed to have food available, the right food available, which means you have to get to the store. You have to maybe prepare it ahead of time, or at least have, something with you at all times so you're not caught hungry with no good options. So getting to the store, if you're going to make a meal, why not, make it larger and freeze half of it, take it, for leftovers for lunch the next day if you're going into the office. That way, you don't ever have to be caught having to eat processed food that you can just pull out of the cupboard, pull out of the vending machine, stick in the microwave. None of that is helping your body to detox. You're adding back in toxins. And then as you're getting ready to minimizing the toxins that you put on your skin and use, as your personal care products, I think it's like 160 different chemicals that the typical woman puts on her body before she leaves the door or, gets out the door in the morning. Practice mindfulness. That's, throughout the day, noticing, again, the thoughts, because you start to feel a little stress. So noticing the stress in the body and breathe. Get regular movement. And again, it doesn't have to be all at once. It could be You know, I walk to work. I make sure and take the stairs at work. I have a little break, so I'm going to sit down and do some push-ups. You know, little bits is just as good as, you know, a continuous amount. And high intensity intervals, you know, doing something hard for 30 seconds and then 15 seconds off. That's, you know, a very helpful way to exercise. Take breaks to get out in the sun, to reach and train your circadian rhythms, to know your body starts to get in tune with the natural 24-hour dark and light cycle, so that your body runs on autopilot. It's, you know, every cell of our body has these clock genes, and every cell of the body is designed to perform its function based on the time of the day. So we want to keep giving that cue to the brain as to what time of the day it is. So anytime you can peek outside, lower your glasses, don't wear sunglasses, and help to continually tell your body what time of the day it is, so that it can just heal itself. Whatever your condition is, the body doesn't want to be unhealthy. The body knows how to be healthy. Again, it's give the body what it needs and remove what's interfering with that healing, which is, you know, a lot of the unnatural things in our environment, the unnatural lights that send the wrong signals as to what time of the day it is. Have a plan for whole foods. We kind of just talked about that. Make time for yourself. So you've got, you know, a time to wind down, you know, do what it is you need to do to feel well. Don't feel guilty about that. You're going to be a better person, a better parent, a better coworker if you do that. After the sun goes down, you put on the blue blockers. Again, I sent an email. That's our friends in Hudson have this pair here on sale. They're 30% off. I'm not sure exactly how much they are, but this is the easiest thing you can do for your health right here, is blocking blue light after sunset. You'll sleep like a baby. That's when your body repairs and regenerates and detoxes. Gratitude practice, either morning or night. If I'll do this every once in a while, if I get into bed and my head's, you know, I've got some anxiety about something, I'll say, oh, knock that off. And I'm going to name the things that I'm grateful for. So I start to, again, reduce the activity here, bring the activity here, and then I can fall asleep. I'm, you know, releasing that cortisol. Having that wind down routine, which we talked about the night before, a way to, you know, bring your cortisol down, which means not bright lights. That stimulates cortisol. Nothing too exciting, nothing too strenuous late in the day, because that raises cortisol. And then you want to be, you know, without food, so that your body can start to, you know, break down and repair overnight, rather than using your energy to digest food. Okay, that's what I've got. The other thing, though, we was going to talk about some future programs. So we're putting together an immune system enhancing course, as well as coaching for lifestyle. So really, you know, deep diving into sleep and nutrition and circadian rhythms. There's like 5, 6 different things. So anyway, we'll keep you in the loop about any of those coming up. And if you have any questions, go ahead and email, and I will send you this recording. Have a good night. Thanks.